Welcome to the Fat Fueled Family Podcast, where every week Danny and Maura Vega discuss topics that help families live a healthy and active lifestyle with their little ones, including nutrition and training, peaceful parenting, education, and mindset. To stay up to date, make sure to hit subscribe on this podcast and check out the blog at www.fatfueled.family. You can also find them on Facebook and Instagram at dannyvega.ms, at fatfueledmom, and at fatfueledkids, and Fat Fueled Family on YouTube. Enjoy the show.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Fat Fueled Family Podcast. We are doing something new this year, something that Maura had been pointing out, and I'm a little bit of a slow learner, so this is our first time doing it. I can't believe we didn't do this last week with Tom Shea because we kept him waiting as we did all of the housekeeping stuff and announcements, and so Maura really made a great point that we should be recording our intros and outros and all that beforehand. So this is my first time doing it. As you can see, there's a little bit of a different background in the office if you're watching this on YouTube, and that is because we just had an amazing little makeover that's been long overdue. I want to say 6-7 months since my amazing producer Chris Duckett told me that we need to change the layout of the mics and everything. So like I said, as you heard on Tom Shea's episode, we're really trying to elevate the quality of this podcast. And with everything we got going on, it's a little bit of a slow process. But first of all, I want to just make a few announcements. Number one, like I said, the office, you should be able to see it a little bit different, a little bit better in the future videos, and we should be almost done. The other thing I wanted to mention is, again, the Low Carb Hustle podcast. That's me, Robert Sykes, Keto Savage. Well, rest in peace, Keto Savage, because Instagram decided to take his thing down 3 times. The poor guy has never done anything controversial. He's just another statistic of this big tech overreach that we've seen, which, by the way, we are doing a massive episode on that, on just overreach and freedom of speech. So I really can't wait for you guys to listen to that. The other thing is, like I said, the Low Carb Hustle podcast, Robert Sykes and Adam Shively, who is brilliantly funny. This podcast is really, really funny, guys. We have a lot of fun with it, and we really just wanted people to have fun in 2021, lighten up a little bit. It's all about getting lean, getting strong, and getting paid. So if you're interested in any of those subjects or all 3, and you really like to have fun and laugh, then you definitely need to tune in. The show has a great format. We have guests on, we do solo episodes, we do game show episodes with prizes. We always have 6 prizes from our different sponsors. So it's going to be really, really fun. Make sure to also, it's at lowcarbhustle.com. You can check out the challenges. Right now we're doing a declutter and donate challenge where every single day we donate, you just take things and donate more things, and much needed in my life. Again, these are things that probably should have done a long time ago, but last year had me blind, and I'm just a different person, so I'm really grateful for that. You can also join our community Q&A. So go to the website for that, lowcarbhustle.com, and you'll see that. The last thing I want to mention is that if you're listening to this after January the 15th, no problem. But on January the 15th, we are starting a transformation contest. It's running through the end of March. So if you're just a week late, you still got a bunch of time to make up for it. There's going to be huge prizes, cash prizes, a free trip to Playa del Carmen, 4-diamond resort called the Fives Beach, where I went last year in August. Amazing, beautiful place, man. It just had, there were monkeys everywhere. The beach is pristine. The food was amazing. So definitely check out my IGTV on that, on dannyvega.ms. And you'll see some of the details on that. If you're interested, you can always DM me at dannyvega.ms with I'm in for details, and I can send you the details of the contest, as well as emailing me hello@fatfuel.family for that. Same thing, DM in for details. If you're on Facebook, make sure to either email me or head over to Instagram, because Facebook is just, I'm really never on Facebook for several reasons. So beyond that, I want to talk to you guys about Brian. I met Brian about a month ago. Really cool guy out of just north of Chicago. He's the founder of Get Lean, Eat Clean. He's part personal trainer, part golfer, part internet entrepreneur, and part author, part health coach. He has a passion for getting the most out of individuals. He was born just outside of Chicago and has been blessed with great family and friends. And you can read about this in his children's book. When we talked to him about his children's book, he just lights up, which was really, really cool to see. It's called The Magic Zoo. We're going to be putting that in the show notes. Brian's mission is to pay it forward by offering support, encouragement, and education for those who are seeking positive change in their lives through his Integrative Institute of Nutrition education and 10 years of group training and coaching. He's learned that eating can help the body heal itself. Sometimes it takes small daily changes to make the biggest impact. He's not a believer in diets or counting calories. We get into that. And he's all about eating whole, real foods, which make the most positive impact on the body. And his goal is to find out what works for you because everybody's unique. He's got a really cool 21-day fasting challenge that you can join, which is fantastic. It eases you into it. So if you're new to fasting or you're fasting curious and you want to learn about it, go ahead and check that out. We'll have all of that in the show notes. And I hope you guys enjoy the show. Hey everybody, I just wanted to take a quick minute to talk about our sponsor, Keto Brick. As you guys know, I have been around since the very beginning when it was just an idea, when Robert was getting ready for the show that took him pro and he needed something to help him hit his macros. And I've seen it grow into the company it is today. Just so proud of my friend, and I'm so proud of the company he's built, the people he's been able to help, as he has several people who work for them. And so he's actually helping people make a living doing this now, which is just unbelievable and so inspirational to me. If you don't know what Keto Bricks are, they are shelf-stable fat bombs, for lack of a better term. They are 1,000 calorie bricks, and they have great ingredients. They have ketogenic macros, usually like 88 to 90 grams of fat with 30 grams of protein. And then the carbs are anywhere from 9 to 14. Super low carb, super keto friendly, and you can do all types of cool stuff with them. I tell everybody my favorite is Keto Brick cereal. I chop it up into little chunks and serve it with a bowl of cereal with almond milk or goat milk, which is my favorite. They have several flavors. They now have vegan and whey options. So they have the whey protein peanut butter as well as the old school pea protein peanut butter, which either one of them is easily in my top two. Go back and forth between those and the toasted almond coconut. So definitely go to www.ketobrick.com, get yourself some bricks, and use Vega for a chance to win a whole month supply of bricks. All right, welcome to the Fat Fuel Family Podcast. I'm your host, and I'm joined today by my probably less stressed than I am right now wife. How are you, my love?
I'm doing good. Better than you.
You're
going to be okay. You'll probably feel better after this conversation.
I'm not even, it's not that I'm stressed. I'm just busy. Like I had to run 5 miles.
No, you're stressed. My kids will do that.
Oh, how can I forget? I see. That's good. That's good mental coping because I've already forgotten about that. Yeah. This morning.
No, the kids, there's a reason.
Dean, my youngest, almost pushed me to the limit this morning, man. He pushed me to the limit, dude. Like,
he likes to test.
Yeah, but dude, how you doing, man?
Great to be here.
How was your New Year's?
Quiet.
Yeah, ours too.
Yeah, it was the first New Year's I wasn't in a warm climate. I've been lucky to go down south. I'm in Chicago, but spent New Year's in Chicago, but it's all good. So,
dude, did they have something going on in Chicago? Oh, how they?
Probably not. Chicago's like,
of course not.
Yeah, no, nothing's going on.
Yeah,
there.
No. Yeah. New Year's is always like, set the alarm, wake me up at 11:58. Like, it's so hard for me to even make
I was
it
sleeping,
to midnight.
So, yeah.
I sleep.
Dude,
I don't even think this time. Well, you were trying to like feed me grapes because we do like, okay, so in our culture, like Hispanic culture, we have this thing where we eat like 12 grapes. You're supposed to make a wish for each month, and Danny's just like, wake up, eat your grapes. And I was like,
yeah, while you're sleeping, feeding you
while I was sleeping.
But let me tell you, here's the funny part. Like, we were supposed to go to a New Year's Eve service at our church, and Dean falls asleep at 8:30 before it's even time to do the fireworks. And then he wakes up, gets a second wind, and goes back to bed. And like, I'm watching the stream live on the TV, and she's passed out. I've tried to wake her up like 2 or 3 times, and then finally I woke her up.
I'll catch the replay.
Right around New Year's. There was, it was, the funny thing was like, interesting.
I would have had to go to church to stay awake. Like there was not The minute you said we're not going, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go to sleep. I know I'm not gonna stay up to watch
Right.
this thing.
Well, you know the thing that
I'm
was
gonna sit in the
weird
recliner in
that
the
you kind
dark.
of missed. The weird thing was that for the first time, as far as I can remember, there was no countdown. Like the pastor was like talking through
During
the
it.
new year, and then it was
Yeah.
like, and we're in 2021.
He's
There
like,
was
by
no-
the way,
yeah, it's
it's
like
already happened.
it was really awesome. Like I was like, you know what? I don't mind that because it's like we're literally celebrating the rotation of the earth around the sun. And it's kind of weird, but like it's a psychological thing where people just see this it's like
The
a
ball
one
drop.
pops up, the zero's gone, the one comes up, and it's like
It's like
new
boom.
year. Oh my gosh. 100,
Flooded the phone
365 new
lines.
days to screw
Yeah.
up my life. No, I'm just kidding.
Awesome. Well, we're excited to have you here. Thanks so much for being on. We always lead off with the question, what is the most critical problem you're currently trying to solve?
Well, probably my new dog, but I just got a new dog. So, I would say that, I'm in the health space, right? So, trying to help people solve their problems, and sometimes you want it more than they want it,
Right.
which can be tough. So, I'm just trying to put products and services out there that can help people reach their health goals. And sometimes that can be tough because it's not a one size fit all thing. Everyone's different, and certain foods and certain things affect people certain ways. So I guess just trying to help people be their most optimal self, I would say.
Dude,
Yeah.
right now, I mean, that's like you talk about optimal self, and I think anybody who's had success or anyone who's actually coached people, we know that it always starts with the mind. And like a lot of people at the end of the year are probably like, why couldn't I get it done? Why couldn't I follow the program? Why? And I know last year of all years was a big one, but like
Mm-hmm.
I even fell into the trap of like, completely neglecting the importance of like my mental health. I had a little bit of depression. And so now this year, we're both like really focused on that part. And honestly, pretty much all of our content beyond, Maura building an empire, is focused on that side, because I think people are so focused on the nuts and bolts and
Right.
like we're gonna get into like your philosophy on counting calories and stuff because I love that, but it's like you're missing the forest for the trees because the mind is where it all starts. And I think last year, if you had a bad year, hopefully you learned from it because we didn't have a bad year. We still did some awesome
It
things.
was a hard year,
It was
but
a hard year,
I mean, that always pushes you to grow. So
but a lot
it's
of
kind
people
of the best year.
it was honestly looking back, it was the best
Not
year.
in the sense of like, man, we made all this money or like
Yeah.
we had all this success. It's just the amount of personal growth that something like that pushes you into
Yeah,
is it's
You're-
intense.
most of your life, like the most
I was
growth
lucky
you've ever
though
had
to
in your
have
life,
what I had.
even more than like 11 years ago, and that was a big like jump.
Yeah. I was lucky though to be given like an opportunity to like build something
Yeah.
to focus my energy because I can totally get caught up in that rabbit hole.
Yeah, but I was, between our main business, my side business, I was impacted in a lot of ways between missing speaking engagements and then like being affected with, launching my first travel fitness retreat and like, during a pandemic. So, hopefully people get from this, dude, that like the mind is the most important thing, dude. So like, I'm going to talk about, your background and kind of what led to you starting your business, because you mentioned the importance of your family and your upbringing, and that's huge for us because it can set you up for success or it can set you up for failure. It can provide an excuse for why you fail, or obviously, or it can empower you. But I'd love to hear your superhero origin story. Like what led to you starting your business, and what do you think like your upbringing had to do with that? So tell us a little bit about that.
Starting out after college, I think we're all taught that, we should go to school, get a good job. And so I went down that path, and not to, and I have to say, I didn't love what I was doing. And I've always been passionate about health and wellness. And so I just decided to start getting into that. I did a lot of training out of like a small studio, and realized that, I want my direction. I wanted to build my life around health. And so, after I left corporate America, I started doing some training, and then just wanted to get more into the nutrition side of things. And yeah, I just started learning about and educating myself about that. Actually, a lot of my clients, one client in particular was like pre-diabetic, had a lot of issues health-wise, and on her own started getting into fasting. And I didn't really know much about fasting other than, I'm Jewish and we fast one day and it's a dry fast and that's it. And
when is Yom Kippur? When do you fast?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yom Kippur. And so that was the only thing I knew really of fasting. I mean, I knew a lot of major religions have done it for, a long time, centuries. But yeah, she had unbelievable results. And I was like, wow, I want to learn more about this. And it just like struck me, she got all her blood levels back to normal. And yeah, that sort of led me on a path of intermittent fasting for myself. And then I started just teaching clients about it, and then came out with like the challenge and the journal. And yeah, just sort of led me down that health, journey. And now, you got to pivot here and there. And I've learned more about, from people like you, Danny, and others, about different ways of eating, and with keto and carnivore, and then decided to start a podcast and learn a lot about that. So yeah, it's been a great sort of journey for me, and a lot of it great education too.
I love that. Can you tell us about your 21-day fasting challenge? I love fasting too. So who should consider it, because it's not for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And what are the goals that you have for this challenge?
The whole idea with the challenge was to help ease people into fasting and make it a lifestyle change for them. And what I did is first I came out with a journal, which I actually have here. There we go. And so
awesome.
Yeah, I mean,
awesome.
I just thought, I'm like old school, everyone's coming out with
Me
apps.
too, I love it. No, I like paper.
No, I like
I
paper
get it.
too, honestly. Yeah.
Everyone's coming with apps, and I'm coming out with a journal. But this was now 3-4 years ago. Time flies, and I just wanted something that people, something tangible that people can, when people write things down, they get things done, and they sort of learn from that. So really, with the journal, I know it can be fearful. Fasting can be something that's intimidating, but the whole idea with this was to make it so it was not intimidating and something that they could easily do over time. Because that's what I did. I just, say, hey, if I start eating at 7-8 o'clock, I just gradually push that back. And that's sort of what the journal talks about is, gradually pushing back your first meal of the day. Just try to keep it simple in the beginning. And we also, have other things in here as far as, keeping track of how much water you're drinking, your activities for workout, and maybe some de-stressing activities, and then also sleep. Because, if you're not getting sleep, you probably shouldn't be fasting. So they all go hand in hand. But that was the whole idea with the journal. And then I decided to do the challenge because you can come out with a lot of content, and if people don't take action, it doesn't really mean anything. So I just wanted to create the challenge just as a way to sort of push people over the edge and give them a little bit of a motivator to start. And yeah, so the challenge is very sort of guides you through the journal, gives you daily emails. It's almost like an accountability partner. And so that was my idea with the challenge.
Nice. Do you like start them off slow, like more of like an intermittent fast, or like different like time blocks, hours and stuff like that?
Yeah, for sure. Start them off slow. It could be anything, like I mentioned, like if their first meal was at 8, let's go a few days and just push it back an hour, and just keep pushing it back until, you realize, God, because that's pretty much how I did it. Like I didn't just jump.
Totally.
Yeah. People that jump in and just say, I want to fast for the day, like they might,
sounds like you, right?
Yeah, it'll like backfire. It
No,
could
I ease
backfire.
into things.
Yeah, Maura eases in, and actually,
Yeah, I like to ease in.
with
Dan, you're actually the all jump in.
I'm
You're
the
like,
jump
I'm
in.
gonna go from eating.
Some people
Like-
can. Some people can do that.
Yes.
Yeah.
I get excited about something, and then like I've tried so many new things that I'm just like, let's go. But like my friend
Right.
Brandon, I really wanted to like work hard with him because I brought him on as a client. This guy's crazy, like he's really strong power lifter, ultra marathon runner, and then he wanted to compete in a bodybuilding competition. So
Wait, who's it?
Brandon Crable,
Oh,
remember
yeah,
when he
yeah,
was with
yeah.
us in 1020 Life? When
Yes,
I
I
was
remember.
part of like a powerlifting team, and he's one of the craziest people I've ever met, dude. Like he's just like, I'm like, dude, you ran a 50 miler trail run in Michigan in the rain and sleet in the winter,
Yeah. When I hear stuff like that,
in
I'm
the
like,
late fall,
Wow.
and I'm like, first of all, how? And he goes, you just don't stop. And I'm just like, I
That's
love
true.
that, bro. I
Yeah.
freaking love that.
I
You
do
know,
love
like,
it.
I love that.
I do love it, but I'm like, but I'll be over here.
Yeah. So what I did over, and this is like kind of a side because it's not fasting, but it's just for those who are coming from like a strength background, and they want to try this low carb thing out and maybe end up at keto or carnivore, but they want to maintain their strength. Dude, we took 10 weeks to lower him down to 50. And actually over that period we saw awesome body composition changes, and his lower body lifts went up.
Wow.
And so something about that upper body, once you like start losing some weight, I mean, between the leverage, tiny little changes in leverage, and I don't know what it is, but upper body strength, it's really hard to maintain, or it's probably easier to maintain but hard to gain upper body strength as you're in a deficit. But I wanted to ask you real quick before I ask my next question, because you mentioned the de-stressing activities, and I love that because a lot of people know by now,
And they neglect that part.
Yeah, and then a lot of people by now are kind of familiar that with the fact that if you're really really stressed, a fast is not going to be a good thing. It's that allostatic load gets pushed over there.
Just ask me.
Yeah, Maura.
Just ask me. Yeah.
Like doing the sauna in that one time when you were so stressed out and you did the sauna and you were like.
Well, no, that was the sauna, like 40 something hours into a 72-hour fast, which was not a good idea because I was kind of just trying to keep my mind busy.
Right.
Because the night times are just really hard when you're doing these extended fasts. I'm fine throughout the day. I could fast every single day.
That's the wrong activity to pick to take your mind off.
But the sauna was too much. Yeah, it pushed me over the edge.
Yeah.
So yeah, talk to us about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, as far as de-stressing, I mean, I'm a big yoga proponent.
Yes.
I do love yoga. I will say I do miss going. I used to do some hot yoga, which I really liked, get a little sweat
That's
going.
all I did most of the time too.
Yeah. And now I don't really do that. I don't go to class as much now. So I just do it. I have an app called Down Dog, which I'll do in the morning. And then, I'll pair that with a little bit of meditation. But if you could do one or the other, honestly, like I know some people don't love yoga. Like my wife is not a big yoga fan. So there's other ways to sort of de-stress. She de-stresses by going for runs, not long runs, but maybe short runs. So I guess there's many ways to de-stress, but I'm a big proponent of some type of meditation, which is not easy in itself. Some type of guided meditation or just sitting in silence. I've been doing that in the mornings, just laying there. If you get up earlier than everyone else, it helps.
Yeah, dude, that's all we do.
Yeah,
me and her both. Every day, every single day. And the yoga, the reason why I think yoga is probably better to start with than the meditation, because a lot of people don't know how to turn it off.
Right.
And when you're focusing on holding especially if you're doing like Ashtanga, where you're going through a series, because if you're doing, I mean, it doesn't really matter what type of yoga you're doing, because if you're doing some of these flows, like the level of difficulty, but getting in a position, holding it for 5 breaths, that
in the heat.
Yeah.
While you're trying not to just pass out.
Yeah.
It forces you to really be in the moment.
In the moment.
We have to figure out, like, both of us kind of stopped with the yoga and have changed the way we meditate, but there's elements of the yoga as far as like holding positions, like the active stretching that I love. So I've been eating intuitively for several weeks now, and I've lost over 10 pounds.
Really? I'm like the non-tracker, and he's like the super, super, super tracker. And I've told him before, I'm like, I bet you'll lose weight because you eat too much. Like, you're planning way too much food, and then you're like, gotta meet my macros. I'm like, are you even hungry though?
Right.
I don't know, but that's the thing. My hunger signals are so weird because I can always eat, especially if it's meat on my plate, that I'm just like, that looks really good. I can eat, a pound, 20 ounces. So
but
Now I've just been sometimes I eat twice a day, sometimes I eat 3 times a day, and like the weight is just flying off, and I'm feeling good in the gym, and so
Yeah.
that kind of spoke to me. So I think my stress levels are lower. I spend way less time thinking about my food throughout the day, and like I said, I I've lost 10 pounds. So I love the fact that you're not a fan of diets and calorie
Right.
counting, but tell me why, from a client standpoint, what do you think the benefits are? Because I know with my clients, for example, ones that I've new clients, maybe it goes over a little bit easier because it's kind of like you're setting ground rules. But some of them, dude, even if I tell them like on the Excel, I'm like, I'm just gonna leave the meal plan from now on with the quantities, but I'm gonna take away the macros. And they're like, no, leave the macros. And I'm like, why? You're not gonna track. I know what the macros are. I'm changing the quantities. Why do you need the macros? I just want to know what my macros are. Like, so tell me a little bit about that from a client standpoint. Why you take that approach?
Yeah, I mean, I've never been a big fan of counting calories. I know that, yeah, just because I like to keep it as simple as possible for clients. And I think the only type of tracking I like is just writing what you're eating down. And I think once
good.
once you know, like you're sort of what you're eating, and if you can make adjustments and maybe go from instead of a lot of processed foods to like, whole foods and
Yes.
things that are nutrient dense, then I think and are satiating. I think if you sort of do that transition, then I think counting calories doesn't. It's just unnecessary, personally. Some
Yeah.
people need it, but for the most part, I would say if you're eating nutrient dense foods and you change over your diet from processed to whole foods, you'll probably realize you don't need to eat as much, and you'll get full a lot quicker.
Yeah, I will agree with that. I also like the idea of tracking the actual foods
Mhm.
because, especially if for someone who might be sensitive, experiencing some kind of symptoms or
Right.
anything, you can always refer back to that and say, oh, wow, look, I was eating these things, I was getting these migraines. But yeah, I tend to agree. I actually find it hard to overeat on meat, to be honest. I find it actually really hard to overeat something like a ribeye. I feel like my body just like, I'm done. But
Yeah, I know. Fish
yes,
too. Certain
fish. Yeah,
yeah,
fish too.
certain fishes are really nutrient dense. I've interviewed a few people like Marty Kendall.
Oh, we
Oh, we
had
love
Marty on.
him. He's
Yeah,
great.
yeah,
Marty's a little bit more, he's a little bit by the book with the tracking though. But I love his approach, man, because
Yeah, but that's because he's very like data, like he likes that.
right.
he's very
Very
data
data
driven, and he
driven.
brings the
Right.
he brings the counterbalance to the keto community in a funny way, in a comical way.
Yeah, he just came out with a book called Big Fat Keto Lies. I was actually going to take a look at it.
Ooh,
Oh, no way.
I
Love
haven't
it.
read that.
I already
That's
like
good.
it.
Yeah, I wanted
good.
to check
That's
that out.
awesome. So the Magic Zoo, this is so great. Danny's actually in the editing phase. Yeah, we love it. He's in the editing phase right now on his first children's book.
Oh,
So tell us all about it, and have you written any other children's books?
it's great you're asking me about this. I haven't talked about the Magic Zoo in a while, and originally when I wrote it, I have 5 nieces and nephews, and I would always try to teach them these life lessons when they were young. Now they're they're like 17, 15, 12, 10. They've grown up quite a bit since I wrote the book, but they're what I want to do was just take all those lessons life lessons that I taught them, because I kept track of them, and I just wanted to make it into a book, and I thought it'd be cute to have them as characters in the book. So my nieces and nephews are characters in the book, and that was really cool for them, because when I first came out, I read it at their schools, and for me to read a book at their school and they're actually characters in the book, that was really a neat experience. And then I sort of went on like a book tour of elementary schools, and
I love it.
Did
yeah,
you read
that-
it to kids?
I have to
That's
say that
great.
was fun. If you ever want to feel like LeBron James or like a superstar, just write a kid's book and then just go to schools and read it, because they're like, oh my God, that's the author, and I love him.
It's so great.
I know, right? You're like, ooh.
Yeah,
We're gonna look
I
into
met the
that.
author.
yeah, exactly. You met the author, and then you're signing books, and yeah, and taking
That's so
pictures.
awesome.
And
Oh, Danny's gonna love that.
you
love
should got to
kids
go on a
stuff.
book
'Cause you love
tour,
kids.
a kids book tour. It's really fun. I actually missed that. I should come out with another one and just do it for that.
Kids are so honest too. Like they ask like great questions.
Oh yeah.
And so like the lessons, so you got your nieces kind of as the characters, which I can tell you how awesome was it. Like there's so many it was my first creative writing experience, and you know, so many of the characters and the anecdotes, I was like, it was an homage to people in my life, you know, like,
Right.
and I was like that one teacher in fourth grade. I get goosebumps just thinking about it because
Yeah.
it's such an opportunity to show gratitude for the people that made such an impact in my life.
Right.
And they're like kind of the characters. I'm assuming they have their names, but the lessons, are they kind of like embodied in animals or like situations in the zoo? Like, how does it work?
Yeah. So so they go to the zoo, they go on a tour of the zoo, and each animal has a different life lesson. So the animals talk to the kids.
I love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah. Now you're getting me into it. Now I'm gonna have to write another.
Dude, I know, man. It wasn't my idea. It was my buddy who's actually like a third cousin of Maura's.
Yeah.
Pitched me on the idea. He didn't even pitch me on the idea. He was asking me. He was like, he knew how tapped in we are with our boys,
Right.
and he knows that we read to him a lot. And I don't know if you've ever heard of the Tuttle Twins books.
Oh, no, not familiar. But...
It's a series, and it's basically teaching kids philosophy and economics. So it converts like several like, you
Like
know,
the law.
yeah, like The Law by Bastiat, and even like G. Edward Griffin, the creature from Jekyll Island, which is like all about monetary policy and like the Federal Reserve. And it teaches them through like these little kid stories. And he was wondering, like, is there anything that exists for like personal development? Like,
Yeah.
Right.
and I was like, dude, no.
Yeah.
And he
and
was
it's
like,
obviously needed, right?
he's like, and so he's telling me, and he's just like, so what do you think? And I'm like, I think this is amazing. I think you should do this right now. And I'm really getting excited for him. And then I was like, if it were me, the first thing I would do is how to win friends and influence people.
Yeah.
He's like, that's actually the one that I really want to do first. And he's
was
like,
meant
wait
to
a
be.
second, do you want to do this with me? And I was like, yes.
Yeah.
And that was like in September. And here we are now. You know, I've already sent a few copies to like, you know, friends of ours, like Robert. Robert's reading it right now. Adam, have you met Adam? Did I tell you about Adam Shively?
Yeah, Adam. I work with Adam.
Oh,
He's
nice.
well.
With the
I should say
podcastermind?
he's working with me. He helped me launch my podcast, and I'm.
Oh,
yeah.
so you do
he's
the
great.
podcast business school?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Ryan, have you been on any of the calls, like the ones that Adam does with podcasters, like
Yeah.
where we haven't been on a call together?
Yeah.
Have we? I've only been on one.
Yeah, I've been on a few. He does.
Is that how we met?
We met through. We met through Adam. We met
I'm
through
such
Adam
a
or
redhead.
Robert, because I've been on Robert's.
What an airhead.
No, it was Robert, because you had
Yeah.
just had Robert on, and then he gave you my info.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, makes sense.
So yeah, so I got those two guys, those two knuckleheads reading it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so rewarding, man. And
It
like,
is.
you know, after 2012, because we used to be, imagine, I went to Columbia University and I studied politics at a place that's very, very political. And then like 2012, I got very involved with the Ron Paul campaign. Me and this one were like just knocking on doors and going to things. And then we got disillusioned, and we were like, we realized that politics is not how you change the world.
Yeah.
I don't know. It didn't take us long. It took us like one election, really.
Yeah.
And then we realized like how important children are.
Yeah, it starts
you
at
know?
home. Like that's all you can do.
Yeah, if you
like,
can, influencing kids, and that was my idea as well, like with the book and teaching them just life lessons that honestly we could all learn, just
Yeah.
thinking positively, eating the right way. I got to go back and rehash the book and look at the life lessons, but yeah.
I know I'm gonna have to get that book for the kids now.
Yeah,
absolutely. Is it on Amazon?
Yeah,
on Amazon.
it's on Amazon.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's been
Awesome.
Magic Zoo by Brian Gryn. We're gonna get it.
I love it.
right after this.
I love
And we'll
it.
put a link. We'll put a link for that.
Oh,
Yeah, we
awesome.
will.
Thank you.
Here,
Yeah.
I got.
That's amazing, dude. So here's my question, because it's like, I don't know how many conversations you've had with your wife, but there's so much going on, and like, I'll give you a little quick anecdote. Like, in April, when the lockdown was really going, and they basically they tried to do a curfew here.
Mm.
It's a little different here in Tampa than it is in Chicago.
Well, we're in Florida, so
Yeah, people know that Floridians are insane, and so
we don't care.
when Floridians when there's unrest, everybody knows Florida man.
Yeah.
Everybody knows Florida
man. Yeah.
So it's a little bit different. Like when someone in Chicago
we're
makes
from
a
Miami,
stink,
so
the Chicago gangsters are like, nah, shut up, whatever. But here in Florida, like they tried to institute a curfew, and it literally lasted like 3 days. One day.
I think it was like 48 hours because someone sued.
Yeah, someone
sued the county.
But like we got like that text alarm that sounds just like an Amber Alert, and it was really loud.
It's terrifying.
It was like 7:30 at night, and it's like there's been a curfew instituted in Tampa, and Desmond starts bawling, dude, and I'm just like, I got so sad and so angry. I've never been such a combination of sad and angry at the same time, because I was like, what are my kids going through? And then thank God again, someone had told you this already, and then she relayed it to me. It's like, if these kids are born now and going through this now, it's because we believe, and if you're religious, you would believe the same, that they're going
they're
through,
created for this.
They're created at this time for a reason, So I just want to know kind of like what conversations, if any, have you had with your wife about, raising your son during these times, and what type of topics you guys have talked about?
Yeah.
Well, that's a good question. Well, she's about 16 weeks through.
Oh, okay. So you guys got time.
You guys got time.
We do have time. We haven't discussed, I think, most importantly, we have the same values and principles, and we grew up, just built around those principles. So, and our families are actually fairly similar in that sense. And I think that's what makes our relationship work. So,
it's important.
Yeah. So from that standpoint, I think that we'll obviously, raise our child the same way. I just started looking into some books and reading a little bit on it, because it's obviously brand new to me. but being around my nieces and nephews for the past 15, 17 years, even though it's different being an uncle, but I think that's going to help. And then having dogs probably doesn't hurt either. Having that responsibility.
Yeah, my first dog, when I crate trained him, like it was kind of like it was a pain in the butt. I mean, you can't spray your kid in the face with water. Don't do that. But
no bark collars. No.
Yeah, exactly. No electric collars.
No electric collars. Oh my gosh, so funny. What kind of dog did you get, by the way? I'm curious.
He's I don't know. So both of them I adopted. The first one's that's Louis back there, if you could see him. And
he looks like a little spaniel in him.
Yeah, he's got a mixed beagle, some spaniel.
Yeah, like beagle, I can see that.
He's easy right now. He's 4. But the new one is 2. And he likes to bark at squirrels. So I don't understand. I just bought him a pet squirrel, and that didn't really do anything. So.
Oh my gosh, that's
amazing.
He's like, it's not the real thing.
Yeah. I'm like, you got him. You don't have to bark anymore.
That one.
You know what, dude? That's also training for kids, because when you give them the fake little cell phone, they're like, no, give me your cell phone.
They know.
Oh, yeah. They're like, no, this is fake.
Yeah.
They see right through you. They see right through you.
Oh, totally. So, this year we are on a mission to share the importance of personal development. This world is crazy, and many of us just seem unprepared, really, for everything that's going on. We've seen it play out in 2020. What's one piece of advice that you would give this year to help people prepare for any more chaos, right? Or keep their eyes on what's important versus being pulled in every single direction of what's going on?
That's a great question. And I would say a couple things. One, and I was taught this, luckily, I started a side business years ago, like when I was just getting out of college, and I still do it to this day. And the biggest thing I learned from that was the best time to have a backup plan is when you don't need it. And I think hopefully a lot of people from this past year realize that, you can't rely on an employer for everything. You have to sort of make your own success and find other ways to pivot, but also to start something on the side. Even if you have a job, have something else going on just in case. So that would be rule number 1. The best time to have a backup plan is when you don't need it. And my second, God, I had it in my mind. My second word of advice would be not watch the news.
Yes.
We agree.
I'm lucky. I never watched the news growing up. I never liked it. It was always negative.
Me neither.
So I think that, yeah, I mean, obviously I'm very blessed in many ways, and I think it's been a tough time for a lot of people. But hopefully, this can be just one big learning experience for everybody, and we can all get stronger from it.
Absolutely.
My dog's destroying everything right now.
Dude, I love what you said, and it reminded me of something. I'm going to put it in the show notes. There's a fantastic show that it's the way I got introduced to Sean Stevenson. I didn't know about the Model Health Show. I didn't know anything. In fact, I've only listened to like 1 or 2 episodes. I love Sean. We've had him on the Ketogenic Athlete podcast, but
Oh, nice.
I was introduced to him through the Good Dad Project, which is now called The Dad's Edge, because The Dad's Edge was the name of Larry Hagner's book, which is a fantastic book for anybody. I'm actually going to put that too, because this is kind of like a daddish episode. There's On the Way Dad, and they had just the best show. And Sean was kind of his co-host for a while. He called him Audio Velvet because Sean's got that smooth
He's
voice.
got a smooth podcast voice.
And they had an episode like 3 years ago when I started to get kind of really passionate about nutrition and fitness again, being that I had been in medical device sales for several years. And it was called the Importance of Having a Side Hustle. And I'm going to put that in the show notes for anybody listening. Definitely check that out, because it kind of reiterates what you said.
Mm-hmm.
Not just from a saving standpoint. Obviously, we always need to have savings and all that, but we need to be diversifying our sources of income as well.
Multiple streams.
Yeah, the first 3 weeks of the lockdown, the most Googled search term was, how do I make money from home?
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And so definitely love that one, dude, because nowadays there's so many ways to make money, and the internet is the reason why we're sitting talking to each other right now. I wouldn't have left my job. My job was, I was in scrubs all day and sneakers, and I got paid very, very well. Yeah. But I have a worldwide market that I can cater to. Clients in India, Czech Republic, all over. Yeah. So, buddy, I just want to ask you one more thing. First of all, are there any projects you got coming up? And where can people find you online?
Yeah. So, briangryn.com. I'm sort of revamping my website. But new projects, launch the challenge. So working on making the challenge better and better. I also have an intermittent fasting certification course that I came out with a little while ago, because as a health coach, I was actually looking for just a specific training on intermittent fasting. I really couldn't find it. So I came out with a certification course. Nice. So I have that. And then, other than that, just, coaching people and doing a lot of consultations and things like that. So briangryn.com. And then my newest venture is just the Get Lean, Eat Clean podcast. And Danny was on that, and that'll be out soon.
Anybody we talked about set up episodes yet?
I've got a hold of a couple of them. So yes, I
great.
appreciate the referrals.
Oh, listen, honestly, first of all, I think we talked about this. If you are now, it's kind of getting to, maybe pretty soon it's going to get to that point where YouTube got where it's going to be really hard to grow an audience, but everybody has something to promote, and everybody wants more. And actually, I'm glad that I brought up Sean, because Sean Stevenson, when I had him on, I was just so honored to have him on. Our following wasn't anywhere near what it is now back then, and I was just like, man, I'm so honored to have you on. He's like, listen, let me tell you something. He's like, I'm gonna give you a piece of advice. He's like, if someone asks you to come on their podcast, I don't care where they are, go on it. I've been on a podcast in Denmark. I could barely understand the dude, and and it's just because you cross-pollinate audience. There's so many people that can hear your message that maybe they had no chance of hearing it, and now you said yes, and they did. So
true. And you never know who's gonna resonate with you either, right? Because there could be a bunch of health podcasts out there, but personalities are involved, and you just never know who you're gonna resonate with.
And how people receive information.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, I agree. Yeah.
Well, brother, we wish you a fun and as far as I want to say less eventful 2021.
Well, it'll be eventful in the end, right? When is your wife due?
Yeah, so she's due end of June. So
That's nice. She doesn't have to really go through
the summer. Yes, in Chicago.
It cuts off.
in the
Chicago's
end
not. Well,
No,
it can still get kind
not
of
at the
not
end of
really,
June.
not
It'll
really.
be nice, right?
Yeah, it's nice.
yeah, I mean, I'm a June birthday, so
Oh yeah,
what's-
June what?
June 14th.
Oh, okay. My son is June 4th.
Yeah,
That's why I was
June
asking. Yeah, June's
Yeah,
a good month. We have a lot of birthdays actually.
My sister, my dad, my grandfather. Yeah.
Yeah, lots.
It's good to be summer birthday. Rather be summer than
Yeah.
winter.
Yeah.
Especially in
I like
Chicago.
summer.
Yes.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Here it doesn't matter too much. Like Danny's birthday and my oldest are in February, but here in Florida, that's actually the nicest time of the year.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
So their birthdays are it's nice. We can do like outside things.
Yep.
That's good. Yeah. Not too humid.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for having it. Thanks for having
Thanks.
thanks for coming on.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Yes.
Thanks for
Thank you so much for yeah. Now you got me confused. I'm
I
like,
know.
thanks for having us.
I know.
Oh my goodness. Thank you for being here and for coming on the show. We appreciate you.
No, I appreciate it. Thank you so much.